From selling pizza to selling shoes, the journey to delivering happiness. Interviews can be frustrating. The pressure to impress the employer, second-guessing every answer, maintaining eye contact, not to mention that invisible heavy stone in the mouth that suspiciously disappears after the interview is over. Now imagine attending an interview and after passing all tests, questions, and exams, you are given a month's salary to not take the job. Sounds like a sweet deal. Well, welcome to what it's like to work at Zappos. Hey everyone, and welcome to Booked, where we inspire others with inspiring stories. In today's video, we're going to go over the success story of Zappos and talk about its founder, Tony Hsieh. So make sure to watch this video till the end, because we are going to share with you the books that the founder read along his amazing journey. Books that changed his life and that may change yours. But before getting to the middle of today's video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Shoes are a great invention. Yes, they have come a long way since the mountain people of Mesopotamia made wraparound leather to cover their feet around 1600 and 1200 BC, but they remain very much as essential now as they did then. While most people will agree to this, others believe that shoes are more than just essential to protecting the feet. Just ask the crowd of shoe lovers who line up at stores and malls to get their pair of Jordans every few Saturdays. One of those shoe lovers, after being frustrated at not being able to get a pair of a then most coveted pair of shoes, got an idea which led to the birth of a company later sold at over $1 billion. The starting point, chasing passion. Born in Urbana, Illinois, to educated immigrant parents in 1973, Tony Hsieh was a man born with the opportunities to do great things, and he made good use of those opportunities. After his family moved to California, he was opportune to attend the prestigious Branson School, and from there, Harvard University, where one of the best across the world to study computer science. While he studied at Harvard, he sold pizza in the dorm. After passing out of Harvard in 1995, he landed a job at Oracle. Now, a job at Oracle would have been anybody's dream job, but Hsieh always believed chasing passion was more important than chasing money. Besides, he didn't fit well into the corporate environment, and he did not like the company culture at Oracle. He quit after only working there for 5 months. The jump to success. After quitting Oracle, Hsieh developed the idea for an advertising network called Link Exchange that went on to become very popular in the years that followed. It was a major success, so much so that within 90 days of starting up, they had gotten over 20,000 participating web pages and had banner ads displayed over 10 million times. In fact, within 2 years of starting up the company, they got 400,000 members and 5 million ads rotated daily. They also acquired some companies, including Merchant Planet and Submit Inc. Link Exchange was a success, but was later acquired by Microsoft in November 1998 at $265 million. Using the money he made from the sale of his startup, he partnered with Alfred Lin to start a venture. They invested in startups, and although they didn't make a lot of money from this particular venture, it was through this that they got into Zappos. In 1999, Nick Swinmurn wanted a pair of boots. He walked into local stores at the San Francisco malls in search of these particular boots to no avail. Frustrated at not being able to find them, he came up with the idea to sell a wide variety of shoes online under the name Shoesite.com. Nick originally approached Fred Mosler with the business idea, but Mosler wanted him to have more capital before agreeing to join. Nick then approached Venture Frogs, and Hsieh saw the vision, bought into the idea, invested $500 million, and became a CEO with Nick Swinmurn. To create a unique name for the company, the name Shoesite was changed to Zappos, an adaptation of zapatos, the Spanish word for shoes. Destination happiness. Like all success stories, the story of Zappos was not all sunshine and roses at first. Hsieh had to use his own money to keep the company afloat for the first few years. Layoffs occurred often. Pay cuts and living in dorm-like conditions were some of the things early employees had to endure. The reason for this was that the potential investors did not believe the internet was ever going to be as big as it has become, and thought investing in a company dependent solely on the internet was going to be equivalent to throwing a ton of cash away. Later on, however, the company was able to secure Sequoia Capital as an investor, The venture capital company invested about $48 million. Most decent companies place a lot of focus on customer satisfaction alone, but Hsieh and Swinmurn knew very early on that to stand out from competitors, they had to deliver more than just customer satisfaction. Thus, they decided that their core business value would be to deliver a wow-worthy customer service. Tony called it delivering happiness to the customer, and it was done by ensuring that they were in full control of the customer buyer's journey from beginning to the end. To achieve this, the inventory model was changed. This was a risky financial move, as many brands refused to sell to them because they were worried that Zappos would affect their brick-and-mortar sales. Most brands came on board, however, after Dr. Martin signed a deal with Zappos. Another financially risky move made by Zappos to offer the best customer experience was that they never charged for shipping, which was a leverage. They chose to invest in customer experience rather than marketing, and this eventually proved to be a smart move, since no one else was doing so at the time. In addition to these, Zappos put in a lot of work into hiring the right people to achieve customer happiness. At first, the CEOs were present at every interview, handpicking employees one by one, but as time went on and the company grew bigger, they couldn't keep up. So instead, they made a set of values every intending employee must have, and that was what was used to vet new hires in their absence. Zappos only hired people who were passionate about service. They didn't care if the individuals were passionate about shoes. Every new hire, regardless of their roles, had to attend 4 weeks of training, a large part of which was related to customer service. At the end of the training, new hires were offered money, sometimes even up to a month's salary, to leave the company. This was done to weed out those who weren't passionate about the job. Not only did Hsieh believe in the absolute happiness of the customer, but he also believed that the customer happiness could never be achieved without first ensuring employees' happiness. Thus, he set policies in place and was able to build a unique company culture that focused on delivering happiness to both clients and employees. Holacracy, a complete system of self-organization, was one of the most unique policies implemented in Zappos. This meant that the employees didn't have to get managed at every minute. Instead, they had complete freedom to be creative as possible in completing their tasks. This made the employees feel at ease while at work and enabled them to deliver exceptional customer experience. Also, Hsieh ensured that Zappos provided health insurance for all its employees and covering 100% of the premiums. Investors particularly frowned at this, as they believed a company should maximize profit first before employee welfare, but Tony didn't falter and kept the policy in place. This, together with the numerous fun activities, such as partaking in online challenges, breaking Guinness World Records, office parties, doggy daycares, and so on, it's no wonder that Zappos was ranked among the Fortune 100 best companies to work for. Zappos taught the public that when you treat customers well, you are making sure that they will buy again, and nothing ensures maximum productivity as much as happy employees. They based all companies' values on making client and employees happy, and this ensured a steady growth of the company for decades. Reaping benefits. Although at first the company barely broke even, as time went on, they began to see an increase in profits and sales. Gross merchandise sales were about $370 million in 2005. The plan then was that Zappos would become a global brand, grow sales to about $1 billion by 2010, and eventually go public. Clothing, handbags, and other accessories were added to the inventory in 2007, and it was expected that clothing and accessories would bring an additional $1 billion worth of revenue. Tony and other investors who had put in a lot of money into the company were excited to see this growth happen. However, in 2006, Nick Swinmurn decided to leave the company, leaving Hsieh the sole CEO of the company. By 2008, Zappos was making more than $1 billion annually, 2 years earlier than the original plan. Things were going well and business was booming. Thus, Zappos launched Zappos Insights, a company within its company. Its purpose was to teach other companies what Zappos had learned up to that point. Topics included helping startups grow their business, teaching startups how to attract and keep good employees, and how to deliver exceptional customer service and so on. In 2009, Amazon acquired Zappos in an agreement worth $1.2 billion at closing. Tony explained in an interview with Inc. magazine that due to the recession and the credit crisis of 2008, the company found itself in a complicated financial crisis and thus had to make the difficult decision to sell out. However, part of the agreement was that Amazon would maintain a hands-off approach and allow Zappos to run the usual way while keeping Tony as the CEO of the company. End of the journey? Tony Hsieh remained the CEO at Zappos while it was under Amazon for 11 years, retiring in August 2020. Long before this, friends and family had concerns for his mental health. Tony had integrated partying into his work and life so much that his friends started to worry about him during the isolation period enforced due to the pandemic. They believed that his drinking increased and he may have started experimenting with drugs during the period. Some friends also believed that he had a strange fascination with fire, and one real estate agent claimed that while visiting Hsieh after selling him the mansion in Park City, he noticed about 1,000 lit candles around the house. Friends also claimed that Tony started trying experiments on his body, starving himself of food, depriving himself of oxygen, and trying not to urinate, trying to see how long he could go without. On the 18th of November 2020, there was a fire accident at the Waterfront House in New London, Connecticut. With a report that one person was trapped in the house. Firefighters arrived to the scene at 3:30 a.m. and had to force their way into the house. They were able to recover the victim, perform CPR, and take him to the hospital. This victim was later confirmed to be Tony Hsieh. He had suffered injuries in the fire and later died on a hospital bed on the 27th of November 2020 due to complications of smoke inhalation. Although his death was ruled as an accident, many made speculations that it could have been suicide or murder. Either way, the world lost a uniquely brilliant mind on that day, and a lot of people mourned his death. Book recommendations. The Happiness Hypothesis: Finding Modern Truth in Ancient Wisdom by Jonathan Haidt. Jonathan Haidt skillfully combines two genres, philosophical wisdom and scientific research, delighting the reader with surprising insights. Search Inside Yourself by Hsieh Meng Tan. With Search Inside Yourself, Hsieh Meng Tan, one of Google's earliest engineers and personal growth pioneer, offers a proven method for enhancing mindfulness and emotional intelligence in life and work. Outliers: The Story of Success by Malcolm Gladwell. Outliers is a book about success, or rather, the myths surrounding it steeped in our culture. Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Do you have a hobby you wish you could indulge in all day? An obsession that keeps you up at night? Now is the perfect time to take that passion and make a living doing what you love. By the end of Crush It book, you will have learned how to harness the power of the internet to make their entrepreneurial dreams come true. Tribal Leadership: Leveraging Natural Groups to Build a Thriving Organization by Dave Logan. Between Shift and Stephen Covey's The Speed of Trust, Excel Puget Sound has listed this leadership book as a recommended resource.